Okay. Hello. How are you? How's everyone doing today? Good, 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 good. Again, you can chat in the chat box. You don't have to respond to me. But really quickly, I'm gonna share my screen and then we're gonna go over today's agenda. So let me just do that really quick. Okay. Can we see this? Okay, perfect. Um, so essentially what's going to be happening today, obviously, like I just like to put this up um every single time just to kind of get you guys situated with who we are, what we're doing here, and like the purpose of this. So again, elevate your network, uh to connect, empower, and elevate networking, mentorship, career growth. We're going to skip past all of this and what we do offer. Yeah, so today's agenda, again, just in the group, in the chat, just say a quick hi, drop your name, drop what you're drinking right now, eating, just kind of let us know what you have going on today. Just tell us how you're feeling, how's life, how's everything going. Um, yeah. And then we're gonna do a little icebreaker activity, um, possibly, um, where, we join into small groups and just have a conversation. Really, the conversation is just to talk about three unique things. And again, if you cannot talk, we can just have it in the chat where you share three unique things about yourself, and we can discuss that as well. Also, we're just going to do a calendar check because I want to make sure, again, kind of what I stated in the last meeting. I forgot to record, but the last meeting that we did have, I was talking about, basically having you guys be very active when it comes to the Zoom meetings because I know we can't always meet in person, hence why I did the Zoom meetings. I'm trying to have like monthly like events in person at the end of the month, like on a Saturday. So if you have nothing to do and you're bored, at least you can look forward to something at the end of the month on a Saturday. Um, and basically, if I'm inviting mentors and people, to come talk to us, it's just that engagement. So if you guys are not here, I won't be able to, you know, bring people on here really because there's no one for them to talk to. So the more we engage with our little weekly meetings, the more I can like be more confident in bringing people to come talk to us, just so you guys can actually talk and have feedback and all of that. Um, and then I'm also going to talk about, our again monthly events. So we'll get more into that a little later. And then the top topic of today was going to be the power of communication. Uh, this is something that I'm trying to push really heavily right now in the group. Just to, this is supposed to be a networking, you know, kind of program, and that even that group me, should be kind of a part of like learning to, network and kind of push on those things. So, um, yeah, we're gonna kind of talk more into that and kind of give you a little like tip and trick on how to communicate and what you should be doing when you're communicating with people who are strange to you or, strangers and, just your everyday life, and then we're just going to open it up to questions, comments, concerns, and then, next steps and then whatever. So, really quickly, we're just going to do a little icebreaker in the chat here. So, basically, if you can just write three interesting things that, you think you have in common with somebody. So, or three interesting facts about yourself. That's what we're going to do this time, just because we don't have a lot of people on the Zoom right now. So instead of breaking you up into groups like I did the last time, we're just gonna, just write three interesting things about yourself. And if you can't think of three, two or one, and then we can go from there. So just put it in the group and then we'll come back to that and, you know, kind of talk about that later. Okay, so we are talking about the power of communication. So Communication is something that we all do in various ways, whether it's talking, whether it's body language, whether it's, looking, staring, all of that. Like you're always in communication with someone or something. So it's how do we leverage that like skill, right? It's a skill that we all possess, but how do we leverage that skill in terms of connecting and, basically making the right connections, not just connecting with anybody, but making the right connections. So, how do we connect with strangers? How are we maximizing our networking moments? Because it's one thing to talk to someone, but how are we following up? How are we continuing that process? How did we leverage that conversation into something, meaningful, impactful, profitable to us, right? And what could we be doing better? So that's, things we're going to be talking about today. And I'm going to also, provide a little tip and trick into kind of all of that. Something that I've done, something that I do, something that's currently helping me. Um, and, something that I think would be very useful for us as well. So I want us also to share in the group chat how do you connect with strangers? So like when you first have a conversation, how do you connect with strangers and how are you maximizing, your networking moment? So basically when you are networking with strangers, like what is the like main conversations you're having with these people? Be it at work, be it in school, be it like you just went somewhere, like how do we follow up, right? Or are we just like shying away from having those conversations? So I just want to know, share a little quick thought in the chat. And again, we will talk about it. But kind of pressing forward, some tips and tricks. Someone that I know, actually a coworker, very, very said something very impactful to me, which was basically do something or have something that people can remember you by. So whether that is something that you wear, like you always have like this necklace on, something that's visible, like a visual representation of you, or something that you do, right? So I've heard and I know and I've learned that for me it's I smile a lot. So that's something people always remember me by. It's like, oh, you're always so smiley. And it's like, yeah, I'm just like that. So again, just having something very unique to you. Now, this is something that, you know, it might take you time to find, but I think it's something worth finding because when you do start, using these skills that you're learning from here in the outside world, this is something that you will see that it is like a proven mechanism that works. So just fine. So that's going to be an assignment. And then I'm going to ask either in the group me as kind of like a follow up or in and also in our next meeting, like what is something that you have that is unique to you that people can't remember you by. Positive, of course, things that people can remember you by. And then just kind of like tips and tricks about communicating. So basically just being intentional and curious, right? Curious meaning you're asking questions. You're not just like initiating a conversation to just hear the person talk and talk and talk, right? Because in that point of view, you haven't really, communicated. You've listened, you've done great at listening, but you aren't having a conversation. You're not communicating. You're not staying in communication. So being very intentional about what the purpose of actually initiating a conversation and following up within that conversation, meaning asking questions, contributing, sharing some of your experiences, sharing some stories, having some feedback, stuff like that. Definitely helps to elevate your communication skills and practicing. Now, I know we all have this moment where we sit in front of a mirror and we just stare into the mirror and we're like talking to ourselves. Whether you realize it or not, that is you trying to practice communication. And it might just be to yourself, but it is a way to leverage that. But now, how about using that and being more intentional about it? So practice, talking to somebody you've never talked to before, being more intentional about you know, basically the conversations you're trying to have. Like, for instance, you are looking for a job, you're looking for connections within a network. Just to give you more insight into it, you need to know what is the right questions to ask and what is the right things to say. You don't just go up to someone like, hi, like, oh, I just wanted to say hi. And it's like, okay, hi. So like what's the follow-up? You have to know like what your true intention is going into that conversation so you can leverage that and maximize it for your own networking moments, right? Um, and following up. Following up is something that people rarely do, especially when you get an answer that is no, right? So you apply for a job, you reached out to a recruiter, you took that big step of communication, trying to network, trying to find your way into a job. Um, you get back feedback basically saying, hey, like you have all these great skills, but so sorry, try again later. A lot of us are really bad at not following up and even just saying, okay, you know what, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the feedback. Sometimes you never really know what that one message that you sent as a follow-up can turn into. That is an opportunity right there. You don't know what it's going to bring. It might not bring anything, but it is an opportunity. So that's something that a lot of people don't do. So it's like, oh yeah, I do talk to new people, and so okay, so but when was the last time you actually had a conversation? Like you have all these mentors, but when was the last time you actually sat down and had a conversation with them? When was the last time you actually asked questions that were insightful and you used to your own, benefit, right? We can always have friendly conversations. And sometimes it's kind of best to also have important conversations because at the end of the day, you know, we got to eat, right? We got to make the money to enjoy ourselves, right? So that's also something to keep in mind when you're having conversations, right? I'm gonna take a break here really quick and then go into the chat and see what was said. Um, so um, Mui said, honestly, I'm struggling with connecting with strangers. I'm just growing out of my shell. And that's okay. Like the first time I really took a bold step was when I was looking for a job. This job, I took a really bold step. I went to a career fair that was meant for business students, and I went there as a science major, being like, "Hey, here," because I was hearing about how competitive it is in the STEM industry, and it is competitive because you're not only going against people that are just coming out of college, you're going against people who also have like 10 plus years of experience. And I feel like that's just the job market in general. But sometimes you just have to take that step and be like, you know what, if I do not put myself out there, that opportunity is not going to find me. Because sometimes they're like, oh, opportunity comes but once, but sometimes you have to grab your own opportunities. You can search up places around you, take your resume, go drop it off. Like, hey, like I'm just here, like there was a position. I'm just wondering, curious if there's anything, and if not, like I just wanted to drop this off, introduce myself, say hi, and like keep it pushing. That's also a way you can leverage the power of communication. That's a way you can also start getting comfortable talking to strangers. And if you've ever worked like a sales job, then you know that, talking to people is not as hard as you think it is. There are different kind of people to deal with, but for the most part, it's just the same thing. Yeah. Having friendly conversations, of course, you and everything, you still have to be friendly and you still have to be respectful. Yes, for sure. However, you can't go into a company trying to ask for a job and keeping a conversation friendly, right? There's sometimes where you do have to have intentional conversations. You are friendly within that conversation and you're respectful. But you have to be intentional about what your purpose is there. Because right at that point, you might not know it, but that's their first introduction of you, right? That is you know, leveraging it to your own advantage, stating what you're there for, stating your experiences, talking about what you can bring to the team, stuff like that. So it plays both, like it's hand in hand. Um, but definitely, definitely, yeah, you you have to be friendly and you have to be intentional at the same time. Even when you're having conversations, I don't know why. Oh, even when you're having conversations with even just your friends, sometimes you go in with the intention of, oh, I want to talk about something, right? Like it's not just hitting them up, because I think especially when you get to a certain age, like, you know, life is lifing, and you just gotta say what you need to say really quick, and everybody kind of gets back to what they need to do, right? So again, just practice, 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 practice makes perfect. That is why I also started this program. This is where you practice. This is not an interview. This is not yet. You never know. This is not an interview yet. This is not like a job proceeding. This is where you can leverage using these skills and taking it somewhere else to elevate yourself. This is about all of us here networking and building something for ourselves, right? To our own advantage, being creating friends, creating memories, creating moments, communicating with each other. That's the whole purpose of that group chat. It's not to just shy away and, just like a comment. You can say something too. Like, I don't always have to be the one, initiating conversation in the group chat. Like, I love to see if you guys can also communicate with each other. That's the whole point. Um, which is why I think that like our first event would be a great icebreaker. So we're gonna move on really quick. We're gonna skip this. We are gonna do this in person. This is the second time that I'm skipping this, but I feel like again, practicing this first, which is, the power of communication, and then we can role play. So we're gonna role play networking with each other, but I want that to happen in person. So again, think about something that you have uniquely that can be memorable to somebody who's meeting you. Okay. Calendar check and announcement. So this is just again an announcement to please, 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 and please add us into your calendars. We're gonna be alternating Zoom meetings between Fridays and Saturdays, just due to concerns that were raised, like option opinions that were told or comments that were made in the group me, something along those lines. Yes. Just so I can accommodate everybody is why I started alternating between Fridays and Saturdays. So next week, of course, it's going to be on a Friday, and then the following Saturday. So we're just going to alternate, except on the last Saturdays of the month, which will now be our in-person events. We will meet up somewhere, have a conversation, talk, network within each other, and grow from there. So invite a friend to invite a friend to invite a friend to invite a friend, because that's how you're going to enjoy it. It's not only going to be about, just work and career. It can also just be very much having conversations and meeting new people, building friendships, making moments last. So for our first upcoming event, that is the flyer. Thank you so much, Mui. She's on our committee, which again I will talk about at the end of the Zoom, but we're also again still looking for people to join the committee. Right now I have 2 volunteers, which is fantastic. But we are also calling for contributions and volunteers for, you know, donations towards the first event. So, contributing, like bringing snacks, bringing water. That's supposed to say food, not foods. Food, whatever it is that you can bring. It is going to be in a park, so there will be enough space and enough seating. Um, and if not, that's why I'm trying to get a head count. So if you know someone who wants to come, please let me know so I can accommodate as needed. So, and painting materials for the painting session. So we're gonna basically sit down and have a paint session and like also go around talking with each other. It's gonna be very, very interactive and I'm very excited for it. So stay tuned for that. Also just set a setup team for the day of. I would love to have people, who can volunteer and set up for the a deadline for what? Sorry, I was reading the chat. um, so the deadline, yes. So there's not a deadline as of now. Any deadlines will be communicated into the group meet, just so that we're all aware of that. And then lastly, just volunteering your time and your energy, which is highly appreciated. You just showing up and coming and just making it out there, I will greatly, 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 greatly appreciate. So thank you in advance. So that's the flyer. You can screenshot it. I sent it into the group me. I have it on our social media account on Instagram. But yeah, like take a screenshot, do whatever. But that's that. And again, you can participate. You can become a mentor, a mentee. Please attend our events and our workshops. Join our leadership committee. If you're interested in any of this, please reach out to me in the group me. If you have my phone number, if you want my phone number, just let me know. Um, and we can make something work. Also, contribute your skills like into like volunteering. And then, just share what this network is about, share what this program is about to, friends, family, mother, sister, niece, sister-in-law, whatever, just let's grow this space. Let's make it our own and let's all enjoy it, right? Again, this is the flyer. Any comments, questions, um, you can put it in the box right now. And if you can say, you can say it. If you not, that's fine. Um, but comments, questions, let's put that into the chat. Again, that is our first event. It's going to be the 26th of April at 5 p.m. The address is on there. Again, it's going to be like a sip and paint and talk, and it's just to get kind of break the ice within us. Um, and yeah, so follow us on Instagram at elevate underscore her underscore net. Again, we're trying to grow a community of like-minded women, women who are striving towards greater things. And we want to uplift you. So if you have any jobs, any businesses, anything that you are doing, let us know. I will gladly post it on our social media handle as well, just to kind of promote you. So just let me know. And also, if you want to be a social media manager, just let me know. Hit me up. So yeah, that's basically all I did have today. It was really quick, really light, but really key points to take away. So key point again, communication, have something memorable about you, practice, be intentional, um, be curious, stay curious, um, volunteering for our first event, donations, highly, 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 highly appreciated. Your time just coming, highly appreciated. And yeah, that's all I have for you today. So thank you so much. I made this, I tried to make it really short so that like people could actually listen to it within a short amount of time. So I'm gonna end the recording. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you. All right, Louis. I think